Again, the rules, we'll just go over the rules one more time for everybody joining the stream. Essentially, today we're mimicking the competitive mode that Blizzard has introduced this week. Essentially, both teams get a chance to fully capture. Both teams get a chance to fully capture. And if they both fail or if they both succeed, it's considered a draw. The only way that a team can win this map without it being a draw is if they fully attack and successfully defend. So we'll see if that is the case here. Otherwise, we go to a best of one King of the Hill map, which we will determine by dice roll which map that's going to be. But best of one King of the Hill, determining winners of payload maps. It's kind of interesting. We'll see if it comes into play here.
And we have Winghaven actually dropping those turrets from Symmetra, not in one place to try and sort of target someone down, but all over the place, sort of in sneaky locations, just to do a little bit of extra damage. So already a little bit of difference compared to how we see, for example, Symmetra's put turrets down on Temple of Anubis, for example, where you try and trap people in a room. Really spreading his damage out across everything to start things off.
This is very interesting. The overlay at the top is new. That is also something that was added in this most recent patch. You can see everybody's percentages on their ultimates. You can see whether they're alive or dead. Basically, you can look at Hanzo and Lucio in the top right to see what it looks like when players are dead. That's the attacking team. And you can see basically everyone's health bars all the time, which is something that you don't see normally in the game.
And who has shields from Symmetra? Isn't that great?
And shields, you can see basically everything you'd want to see. My only slight issue at the moment is that even me looking at the screen, not even on a stream like you guys, it's getting a little difficult to actually read the red names. So I'm curious if they're going to work on that a little bit. With the opacity though, or it's actually a little bit transparent, translucent, it can be kind of hard to even read those names, but I think that can be improved on. Either way, I like this new spectator interface.
It's also because the font is just so slim as well. It makes it a little more difficult, but TwoEasy trying to get around Prowler to see if we can pull Reinhardt out of position there. And we have a big fight going on inside the room downstairs. McCree doing a good job with Lucio to sort of clear that out, and we actually find Reunited in a position where they might have to fall back a little bit here. They're surrounding the rest of the guys, but they seem to have the downstairs room. Hanzo's still holding station.
Unfixed on the rooftop above, finally jumping down onto the payload. Hanzo, being the only player contesting the payload, is going to fall very quickly. It looks like the Gringos team need to actually form up together. Those last couple of deaths were a bit needless as they were kind of on their own, while Reinhardt and McCree were still kind of catching back up. So they need to be more aware of when they're outnumbered and try to deal with it more appropriately. There's a pulse bomb going out from TwoEasy. Doesn't actually catch anybody, but eventually Winghaven does get the kill on to Prawley, the Reinhardt player for Gringos. And yeah, Reunited still just in complete control of this payload. 2.5 minutes left to go for Gringos to try and get this pushing.
So I feel like for the last couple of team wipes, for the last 2 team wipes now, we've had situations where Prowler has been pulled out of position, and as a result, the rest of the team are just left a little bit exposed, and Shadez once again goes down on Hanzo after moving forward a bit, but there isn't Reinhardt to sort of form a base of operations there. And now that Prowler's back on the payload, this makes things significantly easier for Gringos, but they need the discipline to stay together, and they need to be able to use each other's, well, use the shields on Reinhardt, but just use each other a little bit more smartly here.
Yeah, we've got Unfixed popping his tactical visor right now, trying to get some damage in, but probably doing a good job keeping his Reinhardt shield up. Means that none of those kills are going to go Reunited's way. Unfixed does finally finish off Mint, and it looks like Hanzo, Shadez actually on the attacking team, finally scoring a couple of kills back-to-back on Unfixed and Winghaven. There's that dragon as well. Almost a bit of a flanking dragon, but actually kind of whiffed completely, so unfortunate for Gringos finally getting some headway and not able to really capitalize on it. Reunited's already back in place, in control of the payload.
Yeah, this is, and once again, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it too much, but it does feel like Gringos heading around Prowler, moving together with Reinhardt, doing a decent job. As soon as the guys split up, Reunited seem to be able to comfortably pick them off one by one. They've now done it 3 times, so it's not really a coincidence anymore. So they're coming in for another go, and this time everyone's coming in through the tunnel. Winghaven providing just a little bit of cover fire. Now everyone collapsing on it. Vallutaja trying to do as much as possible with a pulse bomb. Manages to get Denzje off, and Prowler once again is down. So I predict Gringos once again will just have to fall back here.
Yeah, they've got two snipers basically with Widowmaker and Hanzo as they're attacking 6 against a couple of soldiers and a tracer. It can be very difficult. Actually, 2 soldiers and 2 tracers can be very difficult to try and stay alive as a Hanzo or a Widow unless you happen to headshot them on the way in. They don't really have a beefy front line. They've got Reinhardt and Lucio basically just getting killed on their own each time. I think a Reaper, perhaps... maybe even a Pharah to get just airborne and be able to shoot around the corners might be a little bit easier for them. Probably falls once again, this time to the entire nest of Symmetra turrets, and in 20 seconds I think we're going to see Reunited successfully defend here on Route 66. We'll switch sides, and then they will, they'll be on attack and try to push through this same area, but so far Reunited in complete control. Gringos trying their best, really need to try and get everything together here. I haven't seen a flurry of ultimates on either side. It's just been kind of a very disjointed attack, and Genji now all the way up on the front by the payload finally, but it's a little too late for that switcheroo.
And I have to say, well, let's check out the play of the game first. We have, at least Shadez managed to get that on Hanzo. We got a couple of impressive kills just now. Let's see what he did there. Ooh. Well, that second headshot looked pretty painful, but all in all.
I think that was right before he shot his dragon, too, and didn't really connect with anything. That was their one kind of glimmer of hope there, but we are going to switch sides now and see if Reunited can do what Gringos could not.
So that... Reunited played a great job at dividing and conquering there. I feel like every time Prowler went down, or every time the team decided to disengage from Reinhardt and try and go off and get some kills, that's exactly when Gringos collapsed. And whenever they were pushing together, they actually looked like they could take the fight to Reunited in a couple of team fights. What I really want to see out of Gringos this time around is a couple of situations where they are basically just deathballing it and trying to out-damage Reunited and just almost forcing them to go for a head-up skill play. Because I feel like the way they were doing it, Reunited weren't really playing skill plays, Joshy. They were kind of 2-on-1ing, 3-on-1ing heroes as they were getting picked off on the left and right every time they split off from Reinhardt, and it didn't feel representative of what Gringos can accomplish.
Right, I don't know if it's just this map or what, but the fact that they stayed on Hanzo and Widow for so long and were unable to get any kills with them basically is kind of just stalled them out. I think a little more offensive power, Reaper, Genji, they finally switched to toward the end, would have definitely helped them out. But now on Reunited side, it looks like we are going to see just the... No, that's Gringos' side. Gringos is going to just mirror what Reunited did on defense with the 2 soldiers, 2 tracers, Lucio and Symmetra, while on the attacking side it looks like very similar layout again, but McCree and Symmetra in lieu of the Hanzo and Reinhardt. So they're going tankless again, this time on attack.
I'm a bit curious to see what Winghaven is going to be able to accomplish on Symmetra while attacking. There's not going to be too many places where she's going to be able to put down her turrets, for example, and have the payload stay in the same place for quite a long time. So I wonder how Winghaven is going to fare. I'm not 100% certain yet. But if they manage to push very quickly, then an early teleport could actually be in Reunited's favor here.
Alright, I'm going to start off watching Unfixed on Genji. He is going to go forward with that 25 extra health from Symmetra, so gone are the days of 250 Harmony Orb with Genjis. Zen's been nerfed quite a bit down, now Symmetra has been nerfed as well, and you don't really see any of those terrifying tandems. But right now, the payload is pushing pretty swiftly through, basically to the place where Gringo got held up in the first place.
And Genji is actually just very, using the double jump there so well behind that rock formation on the bridge. This is obviously something Unfixed has practiced. TwoEasy doing a good job of trying to keep people pinned down and sniping behind the big Earl sign as well. Doing a very good job of suppressing with that fire. Shadez now coming back in to try and pick off TwoEasy on the edge, but he won't be able to get back quick enough. TwoEasy manages to get out of the way before dying. Unfixed now moving in with Genji, trying to get a couple of kills here.
Yeah, excellent stuff we've seen out of Unfixed. Just watching him, as you're talking about the long-range shots with Genji, they don't have any fall-off, actually, so he can duel a soldier at distance just by, shelling away at his general area if he walks into a face full of shurikens, he's going to go down. But yeah, Unfixed hasn't really died yet. He's had a couple of good dash kills through some tracers, getting up in the face of Soldier with the nice deflect, now working on Symmetra with that Discord orb. Genji and Zen still make a good team when it comes to Discord and diving in on a target, especially these lower health tracers that are on defense right now. There's another kill for Genji, still just hopping around, still just tossing shurikens at the enemy's heads. Unfixed finally getting low here, pops deflect and tries to back out there. He does finally go down to a combination of tracers and soldiers, but the payload is a little bit further than where Gringos even managed to push it. They've got 3 minutes left to try and break them here on defense. If they don't, we'll be seeing that first best of one King of the Hill to decide. Route 66 would be kind of interesting. Look at that TwoEasy flinging himself up in the air, trying to get the drop shots. The free snipes from mid-air can be very, very difficult to hit, but he tries it anyway.
I don't blame him at this point. I mean, the payload is further, but like you say, it doesn't really matter. We need to finish the map. If they get held up at any point, not just where Gringos were held up, then they're not able to complete. Winghaven does have the teleporter available now. Unfixed also has his ultimate, so we're waiting to see if he's going to be popping it, but he needs to get away from Soldier potentially. He does pop it though, and he's just going to be moving through it. Manages to get Liddano as well. Now fleeing over towards Symmetra, but is going to have to back off. What a great passage of play again from Unfixed. MVP of the match so far.
Yeah, Unfixed is just going to town, gets another kill there on Shadez, finishes off Prawley. There is a teleporter right around the corner, but I don't think the players are going to try to engage now. This is just a pointless death. The teleporter is going to get refunded though as they move through this checkpoint. So in the previous rules, Reunited would have won this map already, but we are going with the competitive queue rules, so they will keep going and try to finish the map completely. This is the hardest portion of Route 66 to actually defend, in my opinion, is the longest run back for the defenders, and it's actually just kind of a tough area to keep control of. There's some upper ground and lower ground places that you can kind of hole up, but in general it's very difficult to get a good spread by the time that your team is run back, and the offense has just a little bit of a shorter run, so they are able to stream back in to that payload. The payload usually, if it does get stopped here, it usually gets stopped right in front of that door, so we'll see as Reunited pushes up and, you know, Unfixed continues to get kills here. I don't know if Gringos is going to be able to slow them down.
I just saw 2 immediate eliminations from Symmetra there, so all of a sudden Winghaven really coming into his own, gonna find his match unfortunately in the Tracer of Johanneberg. And by the way, guys, we have $300 in today's prize pool. If anyone wondering, we didn't quite cover that earlier. But if you want to contribute to the prize pool yourself, you can. Go to the Matcherino link that's going to be spammed and pasted in chat wherever you are. And the code KOTW6 allows you to contribute $1 to the prize pool completely for free. So you don't even have to reach into your pocket. But of course, if you want to, please go ahead and help out.
Yep, and there's that link in the chat. Definitely go contribute. It's no effort really on your part to continue to increase the prize pool, so might as well. And here we go. Payload is actually very, very close to the next objective here, with only about 30-40 seconds burned off the clock to do so, and the defense does have a teleporter up again, and again it is going to get refunded. Yep, there it is, as soon as they reach this last checkpoint. So they have 4.5 minutes basically to work their way through this garage. And there are a couple of interesting features inside the garage. If you haven't seen a lot of Route 66, these platforms moving along the top, it's basically a straight shot after you get around this dog leg. The payload itself will move forward for a little bit here before the players need to push, but you can see the defense taking high ground, very far back position here. Even though Tracers and Genjis are getting all up in their face, they are staying as kind of a cohesive unit. That is going to backfire slightly as Vallutaja drops that pulse bomb Discord kill on a Mint. Now the tac visors from the defense going off, trying to catch all these Tracers zipping around much easier with the aimbot ultimate active.
And here really is where the teleporter from Winghaven is going to come really useful, because coming straight into the garage here and being able to get up in their face means that you limit the ability for Gringos to actually run around with their own characters and hunt for the teleporter themselves. Although I say that as soon as Denzje manages to kill the teleporter, so a little bit of caster curse going on here as the Lucio ult gets popped now from Kruise.
Yeah,
oh, no, sorry, from Mint even.
The payload is moving still very swiftly here as we continue on there. I see pulse bombs going out left and right, but the payload itself is very, very close to that checkpoint. They have 3.5 minutes here basically to just kill off Mint and then kill off the players coming in one by one from the spawn. The teleporter is very near the payload, but if they continue to just file in like this, they don't have any tanks. There's no D.Va, no Winston to try and provide an HP buffer, and right now it looks like they are going to complete map number 1 of Route 66, so it will be Gringo's choice for map number 2.
Very, very nicely done. The Transcendence followed by the Sound Barrier combination, saving that for the end there, gives these guys the win. Well played, Reunited. Vallutaja on Tracer rather than McCree with the play of the game. Wow, that was pretty good.
Yep.